Hello, and welcome back to Bedtime Stories with Vice Vice Baby, where we will continue the journey of Uncle Wiggily. Chapter 5 Uncle Wiggily and the Griffin. Uncle Wiggily Longears, the nice rabbit gentleman, had just finished shaving his whiskers in his hollow stump bungalow one morning when Nurse Jane Fuzzy Wuzzy, his muskrat lady housekeeper, came to his door, knocking gently by flapping her tail against it, and said, "If you please, Mr. Longears, there's a young lady to see you." "Of course, I'm pleased," answered Uncle Wiggily. "I always like to see young ladies, especially if they have light, fluffy hair. Has this one that kind?" "Very much so," answered Nurse Jane. "Here she is now." And with that, in came a nice young lady, or rather, a tall girl with flaxen hair. "I'm afraid you don't remember me," she said, as Uncle Wiggily wiped the soap lather off the end of his pink twinkling nose, where it had splashed by mistake, making it look like a part of a frosted chocolate cake. "Oh yes, I do remember you," cried Bunny Gentleman, in his most jolly voice. "You're Alice from Wonderland, and you were very kind to help me grow smaller that time when the big mosquito got me into his cave and I swelled up from eating cake." "Oh, I'm so glad you remember me," laughed Alice, for it was indeed she. "I've come to ask you to do me a bit of a favor. I have to go see the Griffin, and I thought maybe you'd come with me, for I'm afraid he'll be real cross to me." "You have to go see the Griffin?" exclaimed Uncle Wiggily. "Who in the world is he?" "Oh, he's a funny animal who lives in the same storybook with me," explained Alice. "He's something between a dragon, a lion, an elephant, a flying fish, and an alligator." "Ooh!" whistled Uncle Wiggily. "He must be a curious creature." "He is," Alice said, "and sometimes he's very cross, especially if the wind blows his veil up." "If the wind blows his veil up?" asked Uncle Wiggily. "In the first place, why does he wear a veil? And in the second place, why should he be angry if the wind blows it?" "There isn't any first or second place about it," spoke Alice, "for you never can tell in which place the Griffin will be found. But he wears a veil because he's so ugly that everyone runs away when one sees him, and he doesn't like that. And of course, he doesn't like the wind blow up his veil, so folks can see how he really looks." "Aha, I understand," remarked the bunny. "But if he's so cross, why don't you want to go see him?" I don't want to," replied Alice. "But I have to because it's the way in the book. You see, to make everything come out right, the Griffin takes me to the Mock Turtles, who tells me a funny story. And so now I've come to see if you'll take me to the Griffin." "I will," promised Uncle Wiggily, washing the soap lather out of his ears. "But where shall we find him?" "Oh, that's the question," laughed Alice, just as though Uncle Wiggily had asked a riddle. "You have 3 guesses," she went on. The bunny gentleman twinkled his pink nose so that he might think better, and then he said, "I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go for a walk and make believe I'm looking for an adventure. Then I may find the Griffin for you." "Fine," cried Alice, and Uncle Wiggily, having finished shaving, he and Alice set out together over the fields and through the woods, her hand holding the bunny's paw. "Now, we must keep a sharp watch for the Griffin," said Alice, who had had so many adventures in Wonderland that it took a whole book to tell of them. "You never know whether he'll appear like an elephant, a dragon, a lion, or a big bird, for he has wings," she said. "Has he, indeed?" asked Uncle Wiggily. Then I think I'll hear him coming now, he went on. Listen, do you hear the buzzing? And surely enough, the air seemed filled with the buzzing and fluttering of wings, and then the sun appeared to be hidden by a cloud. That must be the griffin, said Uncle Wiggily. Alice looked, and then she cried, Oh no! It's a big cloud of bad biting mosquitoes. It is the buzzing of their wings we hear. Oh, Uncle Wiggily, you haven't your talcum powder bean shooter gun with you, and here comes a billion million mosquitoes. That's right, cried the bunny uncle, as he too saw them. We must hide, or they'll bite even our shoes off. So, he and Alice looked over to the place to hide, but there was none. And the buzzing mosquitoes cried, Aha! Now we have that Uncle Wiggily Longears rabbit. He can't get away now, for he isn't a soldier today. And we'll get Alice from Wonderland too. Well, the mosquitoes were just going to grab the bunny gentleman and the nice little young lady girl with the fluffy flaxen hair when a voice out of the air cried, Oh, no, you're not going to get them either. Who says we are not? Asked the Captain Mosquito. I do. And who are you? I am the Griffin, was the answer. And I have on my mosquito net veil. I'll catch all of you bad biting bugs in my net, just as a professor catches butterflies. Whoop swoop, here I come. And with that, the Griffin, raising his veil, which hung down from his big ears and from around a lady's big hat, made a nest of it, and flying around soon caught all the mosquitoes that would have been Uncle Wiggily and Alice. And the mosquitoes that were not caught were so frightened at the fierce look on the Griffin's face that they fainted and couldn't bite even as much as a spoonful of mustard. So, the Griffin drove the mosquitoes away, and then he took Alice to see the Mock Turtle, while Uncle Wiggily hopped on home to his bungalow. And if the rubber doll doesn't bounce off the clothes horse when she rides the candy store for some cornstarch pudding, I'll tell you next about Uncle Wiggily and the blue caterpillar. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Bedtime Stories with Vice Baby. I hope you all have a good night and sweet dreams.